Hey everybody, family and friends, happy Sunday. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a great weekend so far. So what I want to do is touch a little bit about grief and my journey with it. So as most of you guys know, who are family and friends, August 13th of 2024, Tony, my fiance, and father of my twins, passed away after a brief bout with stage 4 rare cancer called thymic cancer, very rare. So Tony was diagnosed in May of 2023 with a very, very grim prognosis. At that point, the cancer had spread to bones, to other organs. So it was really not much that they could do. So he opted to do chemo to prolong life, but there was nothing medically they could do to cure it. It was terminal and uncurable. So once we started the chemo, that couple of weeks after he was diagnosed, it started not to work. It seemed like it was working at first, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't working. Through PET scans and tests, was proven that it was not working. So we moved on to something called Keytruda. It was like an infused type of immunotherapy, which eventually also started not to work, and it also started to affect organs such as kidneys, and which he had to be hospitalized for a while. But ultimately, August of 2024, he decided that he no longer wanted to go on with this because it was like it wasn't working, and he just wanted to be at peace and as comfortable as possible. He moved to hospice, which he went on a Monday, and that following Tuesday morning, he had passed on. So it's been a really, really long journey. So the twins, who most of you know, AJ and Naya, with AJ being autistic, it's sometimes really difficult to go through the emotions with him regarding his father's passing. He very much understands that daddy is no longer here, but he gets into spaces, headspace where he's like, um, he wants his dad, which is normal. That's normal for everyone, but it's very hard for him to process the pain and process his emotions due to the autism at times. So he's being a therapist in school once a week, which is really, really, really helped. She's fantastic. Me and her are in great communication, and he's progressing really well. But he still has times where he goes through like emotions, tantrums, and outbursts because, of course, he misses his dad. Naya Moore puts it on the shelf, and she doesn't want to too much talk about it. That's how she deals with it, not speaking about it, which isn't really the healthiest. Not speaking about it does not make things go away, as we all know. And Mikey, he's 21, which Tony was not his biological father, but very much in his life since he was about 10, 11 years old. So I know it's difficult for him as well. But we want to just touch on grief and say that it comes sometimes out of nowhere, very unexpectedly. It just comes. There's times where I wake up in the morning and I feel fine. And at some point, something during the day triggers a song, a memory, and then I'm in tears. But what I do know is that I try not to stay there. I let the feeling, I let it, I feel what I want to feel, what I need to feel, and I try to release it. It used to be when it first happened that I would hang on to it for so long and I didn't want to do anything. So I try not to be in that headspace anymore because it's not good. I have my children to think about. I still have to live a life for them and also myself. So it's like, it's very difficult when you plan to spend the rest of your life with someone and something so unexpectedly happens. Sometimes people will say, well, at least you had that time because you knew. But you never can prepare yourself for the inevitable. As much as you try to prepare and say you're going to be okay because you prepare, Once that day comes, you're never ever going to be prepared. There are so many conversations that we've had, intimate conversations about life and death and after he wouldn't be here. Very difficult conversation. So I don't know if that it's better this way when someone says you had that time. Sometimes I feel like that's what lingers in my mind most, the talks and the watching him suffer. So I don't know that that's to be true, but I just wanted to come on here and spread some positivity and light and tell anyone dealing with grief that, turn to someone. Don't bottle it up. If you have someone you can turn to, if you do not, get a book and journal, write in the book and turn to your Bible because that's the only thing that's going to really, really see you through. It's God and your faith. My faith is so much stronger in God because of this. I had to fully put my faith in God and trust Him to will get me through this. It's something that is not easy. It's very difficult, especially when you have young children. But you must move forward and you must live. You must live for that person who's no longer here. You must live for yourself. You must live for your children, your family. You just must live. So I say, anybody that's dealing with grief, try not to get into that state of mind where you don't want to do things, you don't want to go anywhere. Because I'm still there where I don't really want to go anywhere, but I'm trying to like break out of that little by little because it's not good to just sit and just let your mind just bounce all over the place with memories, with sadness, with grief, with pain. It's gonna come. You're gonna have days where you don't want to do things, but you don't want to let the bad days outweigh the good days. You still want to try to have a as normal as possible life without that person that you're so accustomed to being with. So I just want to extend prayer, grace, positivity, and light to all those who are suffering. You're not alone. You'll be okay. Just take it moment by moment. And again, if that grief comes, you just have to deal with it, ride it out, and then you just learn to process it into other things. So that's all I really wanted to say. I didn't want to hold too much. I'll be back with another video or another live really soon, maybe later on in the evening. But I just wanted to come and touch base with you guys. So I'm wishing you guys a stress-free, peaceful Sunday. And I'll be speaking to you soon. Bye-bye.